So, Matt, I see you came prepared for man versus machine this time.
Yeah, Doug, I've been studying all week. I know all about generative.
Nope. We're doing flags again.
What? God damn it! How many fucking flags are there?
Isn't New Hampshire the last state?
Ugh, I hate this fucking country.
Cast them down. Hail, Metal Nation! It is we. Podcast them down. I'm Tim, that's Doug, that's Matt, and that's the flag of Oklahoma, because that is where we are picking up our metal ratings of every state flag in the Union of the United States. We're going to have to do, I was skimming through the Wikipedia article, and this one in particular ranked something like 39th on the list of flags, including, so that does not sound impressive, but it does include Canadian provincial flags. And it's,
oh no.
And I do want to be clear, we are doing U.S. territory flags, and regardless of whether you end up a U.S. national or a citizen, we don't care on this show.
See, you weren't supposed to realize we were doing that. That's why I keep saying don't read ahead. But, I mean, it's pretty obvious at this point.
I think we should do former U.S. territories too. Like, what's a better flag? The flag of Panama or the flag of the Philippines? I mean, that's a competition.
How many former territories are there?
There's not that many.
It would be way harder to do the UK.
Oh yeah, but they all have just the same flag with different little gliblets in it.
All right. With what? Gliblets?
Gliblets. It's like the flag in the Union Jack in the canton, then something, and then a gliblet to know where it is. Yeah, it's a technical flag term. I'm not surprised you don't know it.
All right, Oklahoma. It's a 2x3 flag adopted April 2nd, 1925. Then formally last modified November 1st, 2006. The design is a buffalo skin shield with 7 eagle feathers above the word Oklahoma in white on a sky blue field. It's a traditional, how do you say that? Osage? I'm not up on my tribe pronunciation. Buffalo skin shield, 7 eagle feathers. Blah, 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 blah. It is a Choctaw sky blue field. The buffalo shield is covered by 2 symbols of peace, the plains style ceremonial pipe representing Native Americans, and the olive branch representing European Americans. 6 golden brown crosses, Native American symbols for stars, are spaced on the shield. And then there's talking about the blue. There's a reason they did the blue, and then it's the pipe and olive branch represent defensive or protective warfare, showing a love of peace by a united people. According to this.
The word Oklahoma was added to help combat illiteracy.
Really? Wow. So at least you know one word, or at least how to spell it.
Hey, Pa, what do them symbols mean?
Oh, man.
Then you'd be inspired.
There's a great SAT word in this article too. Fimbriated.
So apparently it's Osage, but that is just the French pronunciation of their name, and it should be really Ouajage, but Osage.
Oh man, did you? Well, before we rate this flag, did you see the former flags?
Oh, the big star with a 46 in the middle?
Yeah, let me pull this up. That's what they went with.
You know, I honestly think there's a universe where every state flag is just this and the number, and I think that's okay. I mean, I wouldn't
like a football team.
Oh, yeah. If it was blue, it could be like an incredible zoom in on the U.S. flag.
Whoa. Oh, that would be amazing.
What if the canton of the U.S. flag was every state's individual flag, but just this or this?
We just have to number the stars, and we would do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be
if you're near the edge, that would change. You'd have some red or white.
Just like
but
a
most
little
states it'd just be blue.
A little bleed over.
Yeah. An awkward amount of bleed over.
Oh, that would be gangster as fuck. I love that idea.
So then they also have, this is the former flag of the Choctaw Nation, which, so it's blue, it's a white circle, and then red, and then the negative space in the red, there's like a tomahawk and some arrows and a bow. But this strikes me as like, what if there were Native American communists in charge?
You know what? It reminds me of like a thing you would see on Ancient Aliens, like proving like First Nations had spaceships or something. It's like, look at this flag from 1860. That's clearly a B-1 bomber. So how would they know?
Right. And then they did have the Oklahoma flag without the word Oklahoma on it at one point. But I think, in terms of brand recognition, I don't think you need Oklahoma on there. I respect that they put it on there to help you learn to read, but come on, you're only going to learn to read one
flops on there and dies. I actually think you need the word. I mean, it's a good symbol inherently, but just placing it on this teal blue, not quite teal blue, it doesn't look natural.
It's not quite centered, or at least it is centered, but because of I think that the image is centered, but the circle of the shield isn't centered, and because of that, the image looks uneven. Even though I'm pretty sure the center of the image is at the center of the flag, there's just a weight. Like those feathers leaning down don't have the same weight as the shield, and that just fucks everything up.
Well, I think I like this flag, despite the fact that the state's name is on it. So I don't think it's very metal. It's too peaceful. It's too coming together. There's no tension or drama. So I'm going to give it a 7 quality and a 5 for metalness.
I like that. They tried. There was some thought in this flag. I also like that despite the various troubled history of Oklahoma and its in native population, American Indian population, they nonetheless, like in a huge fuck you, put the olive branch to represent European Americans, because if you know the history of Oklahoma, nothing of the sort. Right. So there's some metal irony there. So I will give it a solid 6 metal score. Just on the face of it, it's a good flag. It's better than average. It's a 6, but I'm going to bump the quality up to a 7 because they have a circle in their flag. And unlike the state of Ohio, they avoided the temptation of just saying, oh, that's an O for Oklahoma. So because they did that, that's a full quality point addition.
Well, and I might be getting, Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. I might be off by a decade or two, but this is during the time where American Indian children are being forced into taken from the family. There was a true popular belief that Native Americans were dying. We're a generation away from ceasing to be, and this is almost like a preemptive eulogy.
This is like peak of the Dawes Act. This is like the peak of assimilationism and residential schools and just trying to commit ethnocide, for lack of a better term. So there is some kind of it's somewhat ironic in many ways, but there is this recognition here, and I think it does, in hindsight, say a lot more than perhaps it even did at the time.
I'm not sure I like the slightly lighter blue they adopted in 2006.
Yeah.
But what did we give Montana, Tim?
Montana got 113222. So that's quality was 1 and 1 and 3 from me, Matt, and you respectively, and then straight 2s for metalness.
And what about Maine?
Maine got 343, 346. You gave it a 6 for metalness.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure there's a good reason for that. I'm not even gonna look. Yeah, it's a little peaceful, but I do think with the greater context of what was going on right then, it becomes less peaceful.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a 5 metal, and quality, honestly, yeah, it doesn't really. It's kind of modernistic in a odd way for Oklahoma, but it's a 3.
Sounds good. I like it.
I'm sorry, 3 for which? Metalness? Quality. What about metalness?
5.
All right.
And for our viewers and listeners who like stars, I do want to call out the the governor's flag.
Oh, if you like stars, this is your flag.
Oh, of Oklahoma? Hang on. Well, first I got to find it. Oh, that's a lot of stars. Oh, God. All right, hang on. They need to see this. There we go.
That is just...
Okay, so it's it's the Great Seal of the state of Oklahoma, which is apparently just stars, surrounded by stars, and then there's a big star in the middle, and within the big star is various small scenes, including another star, and then around the Great Seal, there's 5 more stars.
So something to do with the Illuminati.
Do you think they'll get the star theme?
Does it have enough stars? Who knows?
My God, it's full of stars.
Hey! All right. The next one, let's move on. So, turns out I only got half the flag here. So, this is also confusing, which I'll point out in a second here. Okay, so the obverse is 2x3, April 15th, 1925. It is a state seal in gold on a navy blue field. Above the seal is the text "State of Oregon," displayed in a wavy flow, and 1859 at the bottom of the state seal. Then on the reverse, and it specifically says the proportion is 3x5. So I don't know how you can have 2 different proportions on the same flag. Doesn't make sense to me. But it's a gold figure of a beaver, which is the state animal.
I think this is a classic case of getting it good enough on the very first draft and rolling with it.
So
it's like they're doing the lettering, and then shit, I'm not going to clear it. Let's just cheat it back down. Good enough. Boom.
Oh, my line's in the wrong fucking place. Also, it looks like the S is smaller than the T in state.
It is definitely is. That is not proportional.
So it's like a reverse capital letter. And then the seal is heart shaped, and it is rimmed with stars. There's an eagle at the top holding an olive branch and arrows, and then there is the Pacific Ocean with some ships in it, some mountains, some evergreen trees, and 2 oxen pulling a covered wagon. And beneath the covered wagon, it says, "The Union." And below that, a bale of wheat or hay or whatever, and our favorite, a big old plow.
Gotta love plows.
Let me guess. The count of stars equals
probably
when the state was brought into the Union.
Who's got time to count all those stars? I don't know.
You are correct though, Doug. It is all those stars, just like all those Oklahoma stars represent the other states that number in the Union.
Okay, now the beaver on the back.
This is a fucking flag.
It is.
No complaints. Here's the state flag.
It is a perfectly expressionless beaver in yellow with some shading in negative blue space, and he is standing on a log that has some grass also created with negative space and a little bit of texture.
What's that? It's like Fiverr, right? Isn't that like the low cost outsourcing website? Yep. If you went on Fiverr and asked someone to make the worst possible beaver flag, you would not get something this bad.
Like he's also turning his tail so you can see that it's a flat tail.
The person who drew this has never seen a beaver or heard only a vague description of what a beaver is and said, I got it.
I love that
Let me draw.
Tooth. I love the little tooth.
The little tooth is perfect. It's like a grip.
All right. So this is one of the few flags that has a different obverse and reverse. 2 colors. Mm-hmm. I like how sparse it all is, except for how fucking busy the state seal is.
Yeah,
it's all sorts of bad design that kind of work.
Yeah,
I'm gonna give it a 6 in terms of quality. There's nothing metal about this flag except for perhaps the ennui in the beaver's eye or something, but I'm gonna give it a 4 for metal.
See, I'm the exact opposite. This is a 2 quality flag. This is shit. This was not ready for prime time. Everything is wrong. If you look carefully,
that is what I'm saying. I'm saying they failed upward. But go on.
Well, the state of Oregon little bump out isn't properly centered over the seal. Everything about this flag says I did it the night before it was due. And because of that, it is an 8 metal flag. Someone just said Oregon went to the Columbian exposition or whatever they needed this flag for. They're like, oh yeah, we totally have a flag. We'll bring it tomorrow. And they stayed up all night sewing. Someone said, well, flags are supposed to have 2 sides. And they're like, oh yeah, who can draw a beaver? This is just a fuck up of a flag. It is the most metal flag I've ever seen, just for its sheer audacity of coming to the flag party with this. But it's a horrible. It's a vexillological crime.
Yeah, I think I agree with Matt. The flag itself ends up at a 2 for quality, but their process was very metal. So I think 8 is the right number.
Yeah.
Well,
the flag was made by department store employees.
Uh-huh.
All right, well, yeah, that's it for that one.
What's meant to go on the back?
Let's move on to the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Oh, this is the proportion. Even though 2x3 and 3x5 are in use, the official proportion is 27x37.
Why?
Adopted June 13th. So close. 1907. And it is the state coat of arms on a blue field. All right, let's see what's going on with this coat of arms. We got an eagle standing atop this ornamental picture frame, basically, with a ship, with masts and sails and all that. Exactly 1 plow beneath that, and then 3 bales of hay.
Plow. It's a very good-looking plow. Right, I must say.
Then beneath that, I suppose that's an olive branch and then an ear of corn. There are 2 metal horses.
They're spectral horses. They're ghosts.
Yeah.
Cool.
With candy canes dripping off of them.
Yeah, they got candy canes coming out, or perhaps like butcher's hooks. And then in the ornamentation beneath all this, it says virtue, liberty, and independence. So there you go. And the blue, it's a dark blue.
Yeah.
I'm glad they didn't jam Pennsylvania on here.
I like for the sake of quality, but not for the sake of metalness. Both of these horses are positioned in such a way where if they were real, their horse penises would be very prominent. But I like that they didn't go with that because that would change the character of the flag considerably.
Well, it's like if they, I don't know, I would just say you do a white background because the horses are ghosts. That much is obvious.
Yeah.
Which is fortunate because they needed to silhouette them anyway.
Yeah.
So they stand out in the blue, but then you go with like white, then you got to do that to the eagle's head.
Which they don't. Yeah. There's definitely some mixed media here. Whoever drew the eagle didn't get the memo that the ghost horses have.
I'm sure it's the state motto or something, but I would really generically have advocated for getting rid of the word "and."
Yep. Yeah.
Liberty.
I agree. Yeah, they didn't need
Yeah.
"and." It's implied.
And maybe you don't need independence there, because it isn't that just liberty again.
Breaking news. That's the sound I need to add. They are trying to replace this flag.
Okay.
And the redesign is called the Keystone flag.
Whoa.
And it looks like this.
That is not an improvement. That is
is this Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and all the shit in between?
Probably.
Yeah,
that's probably what it is. So it is a yellow
That is literally what it is.
It's a yellow keystone, and then on the right there's or the left. I'm turned around. On the right there's green. In the negative space of the keystone, and on the other side there's blue in the negative space in the keystone, and that's probably exactly what it's supposed to be. But there was a bill introduced 1 month ago at the end of June.
Oh dear.
So approximately 1 month ago to change the flag to this, and apparently it's gaining traction.
I don't know.
I think this is better brand recognition for Pennsylvania because it also emphasizes
like Central PA. It's a great flag.
Exactly. It emphasizes how much nothing there is in the middle. What's there? State college?
It looks like two eagles having a conversation
about like minimalist eagles.
That would be a good flag.
Pennsylvania. You don't have a great flag, but this Keystone flag is not your solution.
It was also designed by Tara Stark, which would mean it's the only flag designed by a woman.
Mm-hmm. We do need. That is a good point. We do need some woman-designed flags, but I don't know. I don't know. Pennsylvania. There's nothing in this flag to me that says Pennsylvania. Here, let me name some things I do not think about or I do not associate with the state of Pennsylvania. Horses, ships, plows, wheat, corn, olives. So I don't really know what's going on here. I guess good enough. I don't know what it means to be a commonwealth. I'm always suspicious of those states that are commonwealths because what do you think you're better than us?
But they fucked that up too. If every other state, we'll see. But if you're a commonwealth, usually you flaunt that.
Yeah.
There's an alternate that flaunts that.
There very much is. They could have written Commonwealth of Pennsylvania as a previous proposal had. I can't give this flag, this state, or anything associated, anything more than a 2. So it's a 2 all around. It's a 2 metal, a 2 quality, 2 state.
I'm sorry, it's a 1 quality. I will give it a 2 because there are 2 ghost horses on it.
Okay, all right, that's fair.
What did I give New York?
You gave New York a 2 for quality and a 4 for metalness.
I think that's right.
For Pennsylvania as well?
Yeah. I mean, you got the metal ghost horses with the hooks.
Right.
I would also like to point out that in most of these state flags, like the eagle is roosting and kind of like brandishing its wings, but this eagle is trying to figure out what's the best way to leave.
Well, it may have laid some eggs, and that may be, it may have a nest up there.
So, before we move on, I'm on this other tag, flags whose reverse is different than its obverse. And apparently all of the Soviet Socialist republics in the USSR only had the hammer and sickle on one side.
Wow.
And on the back, it just isn't there.
Huh.
Is it like some kind of national flag?
So it's all the
One about the Soviet, the Union, and then one about the regional identity.
Maybe. So it's like the Armenian SSR, the Azerbaijan SSR, Belarusian SSSR, Estonian SSR. So they all have the hammer and sickle in the top left on one side, and it's just not there in the other one.
That's kind of cool.
On the other side. Yeah, it's neat. But
just going back to Pennsylvania real quick, I do think it's very weird that the horse's eyes are depicted and so prominent.
Well,
it's slightly disturbing.
One more thing. One last thing. There's a handful of entries under the United States, but only one current state is using different designs on both sides. But what I find interesting is West Virginia, for 3 years, had flowers on one side and a seal on the other, and then they flipped it. So they decided the reverse was now the obverse. So I bet they got like a shipment where the holes were punched on the wrong side. And they're like, shit.
I'm pretty sure this is the right way.
You want it on the right way? Yeah, the right way. All right. Speaking of the right way, I don't know why that leads into the next state, but here we go. Rhode Island.
No longer and Providence Plantation.
Adopted November 1st, 1897. It is a gold anchor surrounded by 13 gold stars on a field of white. A blue ribbon below the anchor contains the text Hope. And then the proportion, obviously, I know you could tell by eye, is 29 to 33.
God, why? This is a fucking horrible flag.
I like that the anchor further makes those who are unaware think that perhaps Rhode Island is an island.
Well, when I see this flag, I can't help but think of the suit the mayor in Jaws is wearing. like his anchor
That was
suit.
Massachusetts, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was Amity, Massachusetts. But I just get like a New England beach vibe, and like whoever designed this flag is very out of touch.
I like how in a moment there will be no hope.
So this was inspired by the biblical phrase, "Hope we have as an anchor of the soul."
Okay, just print that on it. Honestly, that would be better.
It looks like it looks like the European Union's yacht flag. It just doesn't work for me. There's nothing metal about this.
What about this alternate version, which is a blue field with gold, and it doesn't say hope?
I think
it's much better.
That's a better flag.
Yeah.
That's a much better flag.
Well, the white flag replaced this flag.
There's just no reason to have a white flag ever.
Harder to keep it clean too.
It's just dumb and lame. I don't know. Rhode Island is a fine state. I feel bad because it's like tiny and worthless, but this is a double one. This is about as bad as you can get. It's uninspired. No Rhode Islander is looking at this flag and thinking of doing all they can do for their state.
Well, here's how terrible it is. If you look at this picture on Wikipedia of the Three Flags flag,
yeah,
the Providence, Rhode Island flag is terrible, but it's still infinitely better than what's flying.
It kicks, like, comparatively, it kicks ass.
I mean, what cheer? I don't know what that means. It's better than hope.
It's a bunch of fucking pilgrims harassing Indians from a boat with just they're inside like a police badge for some reason.
It's
That's
like
an
a
amazing
comic book panel and a flag.
Like,
and it's still better than that.
If you had no idea about flags, right, and you couldn't read English, and I just asked you, which of this is the state flag and which of this is the lame municipal flag?
Right, yeah.
Of, like, you would say this anchor flag is
you would say the flag of Providence is the state flag, and the lower budgeted city got a crappier flag. Yes.
Like, that's something the mayor's wife designed.
I agree, but it's still better than Pennsylvania's, so I'm going to give it a 1.5 quality, and I think it's more metal than Pennsylvania's because of that giant fucking anchor. So I'm going to give it a 2.1.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I mean, it's the closest equivalent flag is Indiana, which I think strangely kicks ass.
Oh,
this
no.
does not.
This is not in Indiana's zip code.
I agree. This is like, they found Indiana's flag and tried to rip it off. It's like a time travel mishap. It's the anchor crushing hope is probably inadvertent, which almost makes it more metal. So it's probably a 4 on the metal, but it's a 1.
You're right.
Quality.
I'm going all the way up to 3 on metal now. So you got 4 metal, 1 quality.
Yeah.
I still don't think it's worse than Pennsylvania. Okay, next is the flag of South Carolina.
It's the flag of some African nation.
This is a breakaway piece of Tunisia.
Now, I will tell you, a lot of flag nerds like this flag.
We need to describe it for our audio listeners. It's 2x3, adopted January 26, 1861. Modifications made on January 28, 1861. So 2 days later, they're like, gotta fix it. It is a white palmetto tree on an indigo field. The canton contains a white crescent. So I can't figure out what the difference is. What did they slightly alter? Who knows? Is based on one of the first American Revolutionary War flags, allegedly.
Yep.
And basically they messed a little bit with the palmetto and with the moon over the years, but then at one point they wrote Liberty on the moon.
Okay, so what the change was, they call it the 2-day flag. So originally the palmetto was gold in like a white egg surrounding it.
Oh yeah, that's terrible.
But then they said, wait, that's dumb. And then they just had a white palmetto a tree.
Yeah, that's because it is dumb. Oh yeah, it's right here.
They burned through their Confederate period.
Yep.
And went back. So they get some points for that, I think.
Mm-hmm. They do. I think this is, again, this is one of the few Confederate states that doesn't have obvious Confederate imagery in it. So there's some points there. I always think it's audacious to have a tree as your symbol. That's one of the reasons I like Stanford. It's like you got some fucking balls to say our symbol is this tree. So that's interesting, at least. It looks messy to me. I never particularly liked this flag. I wish there was a little more, like the palmetto tree is stylized, but it doesn't. look. It's too symmetrical, but also too messy. If that makes sense.
They can't figure out how to plan it in a way that makes any sense to the eye.
Right.
This makes more sense as an island somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rhode Island, yeah.
Like a Muslim island.
Yeah. It's that moon. That moon is bugging me. But it's not bad. It's just not good. So I'm gonna go 4 quality. And there's nothing metal about this except for possibly being under the weeping moon. It's not weeping, but
I mean, they seem to have a rational process to get to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not as metal as an anchor crushing hope. So I'm going to go with a 2 for metalness.
Now, honestly, I like the Moultrie flag, which is just the crescent with Liberty in it and the blue field, just because it seems so weird and iconic and confusing. I will get. This is a middle of the road flag. It's metal enough. It's good enough. It's a 5 and a 5. This is a fine standard flag.
I don't think there's anything.
What did I give Indiana, Tim?
What's that? Indiana? Oh man, let's scroll way up. 8 and 8.
No, it's not that good. Yeah, it's a 5 and a 5.
It is good branding. I'll give them that. All right. Next is South Dakota.
Oh dear.
So this is a 3x5 flag adopted November 9th, 1992. It is
1992?
Yeah. It is a sky blue field with a version in navy blue on white of the state seal in the center, surrounded by gold triangles representing the sun's rays, surrounded in turn by inscriptions in gold sans serif capitals of South Dakota on top and the Mount Rushmore state, the state nickname, on the bottom. They got one thing. Oh, man. And this seal doesn't work either. So first of all, the seal is slightly rotated. And it says state of South Dakota. So yes, it says South Dakota twice on their flag.
Twice.
And then it says great 1889 seal on it. And then let's see. There's some farming happening and perhaps a factory or 2. And looks like there's a smokestack on the bank of a river, and there's a riverboat in the river, and then there's some mountains, and then it says, "Under God, the people rule."
You missed one important thing.
What did
right in the foreground? There's some plowing
on. Yeah, it's plowing so hard.
Well, I almost feel like the seal is so divorced from the flag that you almost have to judge them as 2 separate pieces.
Well, I would just like to point out one thing that's missing from the seal of the great seal of the state.
Is it Mount Rushmore?
It's Mount Rushmore.
Well, that's why they say it. And their old flag is intriguing. It seems like false advertising, and they're probably sued by Florida.
You mean yet another? Well, as we know, New Mexico is the Sunshine State.
No, I have evidence right here that says South Dakota's the Sunshine State, and look, there's a big old sun in it. They clearly, oh my God, they bought so many flags that said South Dakota, the Sunshine State, big old sun in the middle that they had to paste their stupid seal on top of them and change the letters from the Sunshine State.
Probably exactly how it worked.
Now, for the record, I doubt that South Dakota should claim the Sunshine State title. I do like just the sun and the Sunshine State flag. I would love to see the cognitive dissonance of just the sun, South Dakota, and the Mount Rushmore state without the seal, because it's literally the same thing as the current flag. But this is weird.
Okay,
I'm with you. The seal was what ruins it.
Yeah.
Totally. But there was a proposed redesign in 2012.
Which is literally a Klan flag.
Yeah. Oh, I'm not going to show it then.
Yeah, it is not cool.
Yeah, it's Isn't that like the symbol on their stupid pajamas that they wear?
It is one blood teardrop away from being a very inappropriate flag.
Well, luckily it makes a big bullseye, so you can shoot the fuckers. they got all these. They can't let the sun thing go either.
Yeah, they are convinced they are the sunshine state.
So they are totally delusional.
The pledge is good too.
Their flag.
I pledge loyalty and support to the flag and state of South Dakota, land of sunshine, land of infinite variety.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay. Well, this flag just reeks of incompetence. So I'm going 1 and 1.
I mean, I am going 1 and 10 because how do you just fuck this up? So how do you call yourself the Mount Rushmore state and not even have any even little Mount Rushmore squiggle involved and still refuse to let go of the sunshine thing? Even the seal is inside the sun. It's like they demand recognition.
The edging is not a container for the seal. It's a sun.
Fucking sun.
Like you just want to walk up to it and like undo the stitching.
Doug, that is exactly. They just slapped a seal on there because everyone in the world was saying, "You're not the Sunshine State, South Dakota."
Like what?
And they're so transparent about how everything played out.
They go, I thought we were. Shit, let me go check the license plate. Guys, we're the Mount Rushmore state. I thought that was North Dakota. No, it's South Dakota.
Yeah, it's I'll go 2. I'm going 2 on optimism that on a high quality one of these, you can just go up and remove the seal,
right,
and get the sun you want.
You just gotta pick at an edge, and hopefully, it's the kind of sticker that just peels off in one piece.
I figure it's a sewn patch, and just take an X-Acto knife and sort of.
It depends on the medium. If it's cloth, yeah. But if it's like vinyl, it's probably a sticker.
So breaking news.
This looks like a rejected T-shirt design from at the airport.
So the weird psychedelic flag that they tried to replace it with in 2012 was declined in the most passive aggressive way. So it was adopted. But immediately afterwards, the bill was deferred to the 41st legislative day. Since the South Dakota legislative session is only 40 days long, this type of deferral effectively kills the legislation. So they literally said, we'll look at it Saturday. And they're like, we don't meet on Saturday. And they said, exactly.
That's totally a dick move.
Let's see if I can get a South Dakota Sunshine State t-shirt.
Hey, what was your Metalness score?
Mine or Doug's?
It's a 10. It's a 2 out of 10.
2 out of 10. All right, until next time, Metal Nation, we're going to find out how many more sunshine states there are. Cast
Sunshine.
I like how the real Sunshine State didn't call themselves the Sunshine State.
So, Matt, I see you came prepared this time for Man vs. Machine.
I am, Doug.
No. We're doing flags again.
What? Flag?
Fuck. How many states are there?
God, I hate this country.
Wrong button. Who knew you could do that? All right, let's try this again.
We got the bumper tag and everything.
Yeah, that was great. Okay.
Definitely the wrong button. All right, let's try it again.
All right. It's all going at the end, though. Gold. It's gold, Jerry.